Why, hello, Tube. Today we have Twister, the original screenplay by Michael Crichton and Anne Marie Martin. So, Michael Crichton was born October 23rd, 1942, in Chicago, Illinois. Died November 4th, 2008, at the age of 66 in Los Angeles, California. Anne Marie Martin was born Edmonda Benton, November 11th, 1957, in Toronto, Ontario. Still alive, 67 years old. She was the fourth wife of Michael Crichton out of five. So Michael Crichton was in and out of love lots of times in his life. He had five wives is a lot. Typically, I like to do a little blur about the author. We've done a ton on Michael Crichton, so let's focus on Anne Marie Martin a little bit here. She married Michael Crichton in 1987, which doesn't sound right because I don't think they were married that long. Well, let's see here. Let me look real quick at Wikipedia. Yeah, so they were they were married in 1987. I'm all over the place. And she had a pretty lengthy career as an actress. She was in a bunch of different movies and television shows. Probably best known to us Americans. She was in Sledgehammer, if you remember that show in the 80s. I vaguely remember it. But she retired late 80s, but she wrote this screenplay. I think she wrote other screenplays too, with Michael Crichton in 1996, or around 1996. And the couple separated in 2001. Let me see real quick. Let me get the numbers. Because I should have done this beforehand. So the movie, if you remember the original movie, not the new stupid movie, the original movie, which that's what it popped up. It starred Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton, the late Bill Paxton, with some other people. What's his face? The dude that died on heroin a few years back. Philip Seymour Hoffman was in it. Just a bunch of people were in it. So the movie itself was budgeted at $92 million, and the box office was $500 million. So it was wildly successful. I personally did not like the second one. I think there's a third one in production, or working on production too. So that's about the movie and stuff. The blurb on the back: as Oklahoma braces itself for the largest storm in more than 50 years, two rival groups of scientists, storm chasers, fight to be the first to launch a high-tech, life-saving tracking device inside the ferocious funnel of one of the most destructive forces in the natural world. University scientist Jo Wilder pits her corps of brash, unfunded colleagues against the sleek, state-of-the-art research unit of corporate-sponsored Jonas Miller. It is fierce contested, where each team strives for success and to return alive. Like the devastating 300-mile-per-hour monster it brings to life, Twister is both concentrated, holy moly, and powerful. Fast-paced and unpredictable, offering us the opportunity to see the original script of the blockbuster movie. So it says original script because this is the one that Michael Crichton and Anne Marie Martin wrote. Of course, it went through a bunch of changes and so forth. It's not a one-to-one replacement or one-to-one of the movie. And of course, this is a screenplay, so it reads like a screenplay. I think I can't think of any major parts of the movie that's not in here. But this is much more focused on Helen Hunt's and Bill Paxton's relationship than the movie was. Granted, the movie was also, but this one, they do a lot more bickering back and forth. It's a lot more relationship focused. And of course, every tornado they come across in the movie is an F2 or greater. Which, what percentage of tornadoes is F2 or greater? Um, 19% of tornadoes are classified as F2 or greater, which I think even seems a little high. Vast majority of tornadoes are F0, which might blow down your fence to an F1 or so, or might take some shingles off your house and stuff. I think the really destructive ones start around F2, and but everyone in this book is, and they came across an F5, which just recently we broke our drought of no F5 tornadoes. What was the F5 tornado drought? So we haven't had a F5 tornado, it looks like, since the Moore tornado in 2013. So it took us nearly 12 years to get an F5 tornado. However, in this book, they come across a bunch of F2s, 3s, and an F5. So it's not realistic. You're not going to go into this thinking, don't go into this thinking that it's actually realistic. It's very much dramatized. However, this is a ton of fun. This was awesome. I read it in one setting. Of course, being a screenplay, it didn't take any time because, a lot of the pages are just, simple dialogue with maybe some things to set the scene a little bit. So it takes no time to read. But this is awesome. It's not in print at the moment. This was $15 for a kind of, I don't know how well that's picking up. It's dirty. It's dirty. It's yellowed. And that seems like it kind of goes. That kind of seems like what the price range is right now. It's about $15 at the time we're recording for a good readable copy. Of course, they get much more expensive, but compared to like Westworld, which is also a screenplay that is out of print, Westworld, to get a copy that you're going to be able to read, you're probably looking at, almost $100 or more, well over $100 for a pristine copy. One that's probably going to disintegrate before you even finish it is probably still $50. Twister's not like that. It's still affordable. So if you want to read it, you can. It's very $15 for a used paperback, a little cashy. However, it's still obtainable, and it's so much fun. It's such a fun read. I can't stress that enough. I enjoyed it greatly. If you like the movie, you're going to like the screenplay. It's that much fun. Great job to Anne Marie Martin. I'm sure you'll never see this, but if you Google your name one day, you come across this video. I thought you guys did a great job on this. And one of the most enjoyable Michael Crichton reads I've had in a while, because let's face it, I haven't had much luck with his later life stuff that I've been kind of working my way through lately. Next did not finish. Pirate Latitudes was not my jam. Disclosure, not my jam. State of Fear, really not my jam. So actually reading this when I read it, even though it's not in order, I should have read this a while back. I just didn't have a copy. It took me a little while to find a copy that to get. So, but it was definitely a breath of fresh air, and kind of reinvigorates me to go read next. Not next. What am I saying? Micro's the next one. So yeah, it's so good. If you've read the screenplay, let me know down below what you think of it. Do you love the movie? Let me know down below. Maybe you hated the movie. Maybe you didn't like it. That's cool. My question for you today is, have you ever seen or been through a tornado? I have seen a tornado. It was not a strong one. It was like a ropey one. It's driving home from the Quad Cities on US Route 67, and there was a ropey tornado in the distance. And I wasn't even expecting it because I was under blue skies. But there was definitely some shenanigans going on. And then, living in the Midwest, we're not nearly as unfortunate as, a lot of people in the country. A lot of people have way worse weather than we do. However, we still have our fair share of scary storms. And earlier this summer, the south side of the town I live in had an EF0 go through it. Didn't really do a lot of damage. Knocked a tree. Remember seeing a tree knock it over on top of a vehicle, and then other minor damage and stuff. But if you've ever been in a storm that has produced a tornado, it's not fun even on the weak ones. There's just a different sound to them. I don't know how else to explain it. even weak tornadoes that are relatively in your vicinity sound like the apocalypse is going on. It's just not fun. And of course, a couple years ago, we had I don't think it was a tornado. I think it was just like a micro burst. Took out an 80-foot elm tree. I forget what kind of tree we had in our yard. Completely knocked it over. Missed the house by maybe 10 feet. We weren't home at the time, thank Lord. And one of the neighbors also a couple years before that lost a tree that landed perfectly between my house and my truck. So that was fun. Again, we weren't home, so that was nice. That would have been either one of those would have been a time to go change the drawers type of thing. So yeah. So Twister, Michael Crichton and Anne Marie Martin, good job. Absolutely loved it. It's absolute banger. Well worth trying to get your hands on a copy. I don't know if there's any digital copies out there. I didn't really go looking for it. Maybe there's a way of reading it for cheaper digitally, or maybe your local library maybe have a copy or something. If that's the case, go read it. Go spend the $15 on eBay or whatever you have to if you're a fan. Well worth your time and money. Cheers, peeps. Oh, my mouse turned off. It does that.